Hopefully you guys can see me, hear me. Let me know down in the comment section. We'll get this thing started off by me wishing every mother out there a happy Mother's Day. Um, and if your mom is still around and you haven't called her yet, this is your reminder to call her, or you will not live it down for the rest of the year. Uh, until the next one, you'll probably never live it down. So let me make sure first that I'm actually here and that you guys can actually see me. Emma, hello from the UK. Awesome to see you here today. I'm having a fantastic day. I'm a little beat. I'm not going to lie, guys. I spent probably a little bit too much time out in the sun yesterday, shoveling, uh, getting the garden all leveled out and squared away. Good. Okay. Looks like everything's coming through here. And got a little bit of color in my face, but man, I just didn't want to stop. It was gorgeous. And then today it's all cloudy and nasty and windy and everything else outside. So So the way I like to do these, usually they run an hour. Today we'll run a little bit longer on the suggestion to some viewers for last week, um, because it's going to be the last one for the season. But basically, I like to say hello to everybody. If you have a question, by all means, feel free to ask it. And if you've got a burning question, today is the day to ask it because I won't be back until September, October-ish, when I know that the internet signal can hold the stream, unless something changes between them. So this is not the last live stream of the year, but it's the last scheduled one. So if I have some good times during the summer where I could actually go live and it looks like it'll work, I'll give it a try, but no guarantees. This is the last scheduled one as far as that goes. With that said, let me jump back up to the top. Oh, and if you ask a question and I miss it, by all means, ask it again. If I've already answered it by the time I get to the second time you ask it, I'll just skip over it. Today we had Liz in here. First and foremost comment of the live stream, even before it started. Liz, glad to see you. Awesome you can make it today. And again, this is not the last live stream. This is the last scheduled live stream. Uh, I will not be live next weekend though, no matter what, because I'm going halibut fishing. Uh, but if I do get a decent internet signal, I'll try and go live during the summer just to catch you guys up a bit and chat with you on what you've seen happening so far. Rebel Canners, glad you can make it. Awesome to see you. Kermudge, pretty much everything I was doing yesterday, getting everything cleaned up. Now that the snow is pretty much all the way gone, I was out there just working and working and working in the yard. And I didn't want to come back in. I had a campfire going. I had the pick and shovel going. I was getting a lot of stuff done. It was a ton of fun. On the bottom down there, I have a little caption that I post, kind of change every week. But happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Call yours if she's still with you. I called mine. Sunrise this morning was at 5:23 a.m. Sunset was at 10:36 p.m. But we're light enough to see without needing lights or anything at 4 o'clock in the morning now, till about 11:30 at night. So we're down to about 5.5, maybe 6 hours of darkness total during the day now, and they just get shorter from here on, right? The night gets shorter and shorter from this point forward. Carol L., awesome to see you. Glad you could make it today. Steve G., welcome, Steve. Good to see you, my friend. Ray Davis, what are you going to do with your Sunday afternoons now? Hopefully you'll be as productive as I am on my Sunday afternoons, because normally I'm not. Normally this is my wind down, relaxed day. But it's going to be, I got a lot of stuff planned this summer. So if you have stuff planned, take care of it then. Or you know what? Here's a great idea. You can watch one of my videos again. You watch them all as many times you want, folks. I don't care how many times you watch them. Michigan Daffodil, good to see you. Awesome. Awesome to have you here today. So glad you could be here as well. Ward, good to see you, brother. Scotty's Backyard Barbecue outside. He'll be in soon. Scotty smoked with a offset smoker a gorgeous meatloaf. He was taking suggestions on Facebook for what he should do, and meatloaf won. And then he was taking suggestions for, what kind of how everybody wanted him to prepare it. And offset smoker won, and it looked gorgeous. God, I need to make a meatloaf. I really do, because there's nothing better than meatloaf, and except for maybe meatloaf sandwiches the next day. Charles and Annalyn from the Philippines, awesome to see you guys. Glad to have you here today. Jonathan Davis from Tennessee, welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Raven P, hello and welcome. Awesome you could be here today. Matt AK, don't be sad, man. You're going to be up here anyway. You're going to realize that you're way too busy during the good months of the year to sit in a house and watch this anyway. Definitely. Scrolling on through, I don't know what you're talking about here, Ward. My video was deleted. I don't know what video that was, but please let me know, because I haven't deleted any videos. Trail Camp Pete, good to see you, my friend. Awesome to have you here. And it might have been, maybe it was this, just kind of blacked out for a minute and then started again, and that's part of the reason why I don't even try to schedule a live stream during the summer. it's getting pretty iffy right now as far as that goes. Built on the rock homestead. Yeah, that's funny right there. That is funny. Had no idea the chicken was in there. And Emma, I said hello to you, but hello again from the UK. If you guys can tell, I'm not sitting in the kitchen today. I'm sitting on the couch right here, right now. Brady G, good to see you. Oh, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. That's awesome. Kevin Wright, awesome to see you today. Everything's in Alaska is fantastic right now, man. It is it's the busy time of year, getting into the busy time of the year. CK, welcome. Glad you could be here today. Terry Burns, good to see you. Awesome to have you here today. Bill, you made it. Alaska's last frontier homestead, Bill. Bill's building a cabin as well. And Scotty, if you're in here, do me a favor too and share some of these channels if you can. But he just sent me a message the other day saying, "Man, the timing's always wrong and I can never make it." And trust me, I understand. That's why I actually leave my lives on the channel, and I try to make sure that the live chat is also included in there. Sometimes I forget that. But I get a lot of people that for whatever reason can't. If you're overseas, most of the people overseas are probably in bed by now, that watch the channel and they can't really get a chance to watch it. So it's nice for them to be able to come in and see what we chatted about. Maybe answer a couple of the questions that they might have had that they missed the chance of asking. But yeah, timing is everything, right? I do appreciate that. That's awesome. That makes it worth doing, right? That really makes sharing this really worth what I have to go through to do what I'm doing. The actual building part, the physical part of everything that I'm doing here is pretty easy, uh, except that I have to do it like 10 times because when you see me walking from point A to point B, I may have to move the camera 3 times to have that whole sequence in there. Or when you see me cutting a piece of wood, I may have to stop, and it's all that YouTube stuff. And when I get comments like that, I just love it because it makes it worthwhile. It really makes it worth doing. Lord Veda, good to see you, Darth. Glad you can make it today. Mr. Daffodil wants to know, do I watch the Live Bear YouTube channel from Alaska just to peek in sometimes? Just curious. I do. And it's the one that I watch is if you go on Google and you search Brook Falls Bear Cam. So Brook, Brook, Falls Bear Cam. You can watch it as the sockeye salmon are coming in and the bears are all getting fat. And it's a ton of fun to view. I love watching that channel. Matt says he finally got some pics of short videos of the Cooper cabin. It definitely needs work, but it's in much better shape than expected. Awesome, that'll be perfect. Yeah, man. When you get up here, let me know, and we'll definitely get together because I love Cooper Landing. That's one of the most beautiful parts of the Kenai Peninsula, as far as I'm concerned. It is absolutely gorgeous up there. But yeah, let me know when you get here, definitely. Kevin Wright, how you doing, my friend? In Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Everything's going fantastic in Alaska. You did your duty to your mother. Thank you. Good man. Good man. Judith Wright from Kingman, Arizona. Welcome. Glad to have you here today. Awesome you can hang out with me. Your mom made me. I love meatloaf sandwiches. Nice, thinly sliced meatloaf. And somehow we always talk about food here, and I love food. But maybe I don't know, maybe quarter-inch thick slices of meatloaf, um, cold or hot. Cold is fine too. Uh, on good sourdough bread with mayonnaise, maybe a little shot of mustard in there. Yum yum. Richard, welcome, my friend. Good to see you from northern Wisconsin. Awesome to have you here. Scotty's in Wisconsin as well. Susan St. Louis, awesome to have you here today. I hope your summer's fantastic too. Um, you'll see my videos. There'll still be videos in case there's any confusion. I'll still have videos every Friday, and I'll do the occasional short as well. It's just the Sunday lives that I won't be doing, or I won't be scheduling um, for till the fall, till September, October. I got mosquitoes flying around me right now, too. Get out of here, die. So we'll still have videos every week. Just I won't be scheduling the live chats like this on Sundays like I have been doing. Oh, LaRue Douglas, awesome to have you here today. Good to see you from Iowa. Happy Mother's Day to everyone as well, and happy Mother's Day to you, should you be a mother. Josh Norbit, good to see you, my friend. Glad you can make it as well. Very cool. And if you're just kind of lurking in the chat, but you don't really like saying, hello or anything like that, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And then I'll shout your name out as well. Because I do like to know who shows up at the lives. To me, it's super awesome. Okay. CK wants to know, where did I learn to build? Love your videos on building your cabin. YouTube. I literally, last May was the first time I swung a hammer. So a year ago now was the first time I ever swung a hammer with any serious intent to build anything. And that was to build the beams. And I was terrible at it. And I could only sink, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 nails before I had to take a break because my arm felt like it was going to fall off. But I had never really built anything other than the chicken coop and a doghouse maybe 20 years ago. But I'd never built anything else before I tried to build a cabin. So I learned how to do 90% of, or I worked in my head 90% of what I needed to know to do to build the cabin. But Ward, who's in the chat right now, is a contractor friend of mine. And he was my, whoops, I got this sitting on a table right here and I hit it with my knee. He was my go-to whenever I had any questions. And the awesome thing with Ward is when I had a question or when he was here and I was getting ready to do something, he would look at me and he would say, "Are you sure you want to do it that way?" He wouldn't give me the answer unless I asked him, but he would make me question myself and think about it. And so for on-the-job stuff, I just cannot thank Ward enough for what he pulled off. And Todd, when we were working on the roof too, Todd's mantra with me was the string don't lie, Sean, the string don't lie, which is when you're pulling string line, which is true. But everything else is pretty much YouTube. And I'd never built anything before I built this. So if I can do it, you can do it. Anybody can do it. Oliver Jackson, awesome to see you, my friend. Glad you can make it today from the great state of Texas. Very cool. Louise, welcome. And happy Mother's Day if you're a mom. And happy Mother's Day if you're not. Still your day. I'm still going to give that to you. Okay, yeah, Michigan Daffodil, that is the channel. And usually I'll share that on the community tab when the bears are starting to feed. I'll put a post out. But this year maybe I'll do a quick short on it as well to get it out to more people. But it's super cool. It's the Brooks Falls bear cam, and it's a live bear cam where you can watch the bears actually. You can go on there now and watch bears from last year, but where you can actually watch the bears catching the fish out of the water, which is super cool. Is that the cam they used to show the fattest bear competition? I don't know. I've never really dug. They do have one every year. So they have a bear every year that becomes the fattest bear of the year for the amount of fish that they ate. And I know it's the same river. I know it's the same section where they usually pick the bear from. But I don't know if they actually do the voting on there or not. They might do the voting on the website. And Michigan Daffodil says yes. That's okay though, man. At least you called her, right, Matt? And you don't want to, you don't want to get people sick. It's, especially nowadays, everybody freaks out, completely. And especially if your parents are older, just call them on the phone, tell them you love them. That's all that matters. Whipple One, good to see you, my friend. This is the time of year I absolutely dread. I can deal with mud, I can deal with heat, bugs, no problem. But the kilt just kills me. You're going to be seeing the kilt an awful lot again. It's been pretty much on me every single day. And when I booked the fishing trip, so I'm going out on a charter next Sunday for halibut and cod out of Homer. And when I booked the trip, I talked to the guy on the phone because, you got to put your deposit down. And I told him, hey, can I wear my kilt on the boat? And he goes, your what? And he's a younger guy. And I go, my kilt. Because I pretty much just wear a kilt whenever I'm not at work. And the guy goes, dude, yeah, that's cool. You can wear your kilt. I go, good, because I'm going to record this entire trip for my YouTube channel. And then he went crazy. Oh my God, really cool, super cool. So yeah, you'll be seeing me fishing in a kilt on a boat in the middle of the Cook Inlet. Mike McKinley, good to see you, my friend. Awesome to have you here today. The snow is pretty much all gone. The picture that I used for a thumbnail for this live was taken this morning from what I was doing in the garden yesterday, just kind of leveling everything out. So for those not aware, that's going to be the garden, and I'm not building it in the ground. I'm building it on top of the ground. So it's going to be raised beds on top of the ground, not framed in. just think of Simple Living Alaska and how Ariel and Eric built their garden, and that's kind of the same exact way that I'm going to do it. This year is going to be small, and every year it'll grow a little bit bigger. I picked up potatoes yesterday, though. So that little patch of snow is the only patch of snow left in that area. And then I still have snow on both sides of the cabin where it's shed from the roof. But other than that, not much snow at all. Pretty much all gone now. Scotty. Kathy Stafford, good to see you. Awesome to have you here today. Yeah, Ward was a lifeline. He really was. I mean, there's a couple of times where he just looked at me and shook his head. Now, mind you, there were a couple of times where I was telling him how I wanted to do something, and he was like, "No, you don't want to do it that way." But I wasn't telling him the right way that I was thinking in my head. And once I would get it squared away, he's like, "Oh no, never mind. I understand what you're saying. Go ahead. That's the right way." I go, "Okay, cool." But yeah, it was huge, huge, huge to have him as a shoulder to lean on whenever I had any questions to bounce off. Moose does stuff on Twitch, learn to build on YouTube too. Very cool. YouTube is just awesome. If there's anything I'm trying to learn how to do, the first thing I do is I go on Google, I do search, and I click video on the top. And there'll be a million YouTube videos from somebody who's already learned how to do that. And then I will go watch the video to try and maybe usually within 2 or 3 videos I can find out how I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing. But it is a great resource. I mean, it is a great resource. Kyle, welcome, my friend. Good to have you here today from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Awesome. Going in hot, Warren. How you doing? Good to see you, brother. Awesome to have you here today. We got a little cloudy. It was beautiful yesterday. I don't know what you're like over in Kenai, but man, here today we're out in Funny River. We're cloudy and overcast. Yeah, and by what Ward's saying right here, I wanted to do this myself. So I'm sure that I could have told Ward, "Hey, man, give me a hand here. I need," like when we stood up the walls, Ward and Todd came over and helped me stand up the walls, but I framed them all because for me it was very important to do this by myself because it was a dream that I'd had from the beginning, right? And um, I've been saying for years that when my kids got old enough um, that they were out on their own, graduated high school, I was moving back to Alaska and I was going to build a cabin. The first thought of a cabin was going to be a log cabin, so I bought videos to teach myself how to do that. Was buying equipment to be able to do that. And then when I got here, I realized that the trees on the properties in this area were really not conducive to build a log cabin. They're pretty small, nasty trees. It would be fine if it was just going to be a summer cabin, but if it was going to be a winter cabin, there's no way. But I still wanted to build my own place. So um, for everything I needed help with, I had people in, and I think I showed everybody who helped in the videos. So I don't want anybody to think that I was acting like I was doing this 100% by myself, because when I needed help and those people came and helped me on that section, they were in that video. But I wanted to do as much physically as I could without any help. And I got more done than I ever thought I was going to do. I really did. Thomas Fry, welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Definitely. Videos are every Friday, no matter what. Kristen Grounds, good to see you. Awesome, awesome. Happy Mother's Day to you. Louise is saying that you have a fur baby. Does that count? That counts, right? I mean, nowadays that counts. When I was a kid, my mom would have said, "Get the dog out of the house." My parents didn't really call them that. My generation, most of my generation, I guess the guys wouldn't call them that. Although my brother's got a little dog that is pretty much like his kid now too. But yeah, that counts. I'm okay with that. 9-week-old Cocker Spaniel toy poodle. That's got to be a cute pup. That's got to be a cute pup. Thank you very much for that, Liz. So when you see people say hit the like button, they're basically helping promote me. What that does, if you hit that thumbs up, especially when I'm live, is it tells other people that might be logging into YouTube, hey, this guy's live right now, and the people that are there are really enjoying it because there's a lot of thumbs up. So you might be interested in seeing it. So it gets it out in front of people, and I greatly appreciate that. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoy it. Hit the thumbs down if you don't. I don't care. Either way. But I love it when people comment. I really do love to be able to answer people's questions if I have the answer. Scotty, I'm gonna do a brisket this summer in the offset. that I rebuilt. I'm going to do a brisket in that thing this year. Thomas wants to know if the road's finished for those of you that were here last week. And there'll be video that video will come out next Friday. But for those of you that were here last week, I was trapped in Funny River because Friday night, a week ago last Friday at 9 p.m., gotcha. Dead mosquito. They ended up closing the Funny River Road because we had a sinkhole and a washout during one of the culvert sections. And they reopened it again at 10:30 in the morning. So it's gravel now, 2-lane gravel through that one dip that they put the new culvert in. But starting Monday, and if the screen moves, that's because I'm an idiot and my knee hits the table that it's on. Starting Monday is road construction in Funny River that will last all summer long. So they were planning on repaving Funny River anyway this year and replacing some culverts. I don't know if that one was on the list or not. But the road is open, fixed, no restrictions whatsoever. But starting Monday, we're going to have flaggers and restrictions for the entire summer out here. It's going to be a bit of a mess. That steak was delicious. If you guys wonder what CK's talking about, I shared some pictures on the community tab, and on the community tab on YouTube of dinner last night. So yesterday, May 13th, would have been my father's 83rd birthday, and so every year, usually on May 13th, I grill a cheeseburger. But I ran across a great deal on some boneless ribeye steaks at Three Bears, which is a local market up here. So I bought a pack and did ribeye steak, baked potato in the campfire, grilled asparagus, and garlic bread out of the same buns I use for hamburger buns, ciabatta rolls. I made garlic bread out of those, and that was Dad's birthday dinner last night. So I'm doing a cheeseburger tonight. But I never tire of steak. I love steak. Canadian, good to see you, my friend. Awesome to have you here today. Right, Kathy? It is. It's super, super awesome. I've met some incredibly friendly and wonderful people up here that I've come to call friends. And I've met some wonderful people on YouTube that I've come to call friend, from just doing this. And that in itself is so, so awesome. It's cloudy up in Willow right now, but nice and warm. Yeah, we're 60 degrees outside. It's warmer outside than it is inside the cabin right now, which is nice. Morton from Norway, good to see you, my friend. Happy Sunday to you. Hey, Sean, I had salmon on the barbecue. It was delicious, and baked potatoes. Yum, yum. I'll be doing some salmon this year. Last year, I did not fish at all because, once I was going to build this cabin last year. I wasn't going to wait another year. So the price of lumber dropped to maybe half of what it was coming out of 2020. And that's why in 2021 I didn't build, because it was just ridiculous. So in 2022, the price of lumber dropped enough. I said, I'm building this no matter what. And that became the main priority for the whole year. I lost a lot of time enjoying Alaska. I learned a lot, and I'm not living in a trailer anymore. So super, super cool. What? You didn't do everything yourself? I did not. I will never say that I did something I did not do. I just won't, man. It's just there's certain things you can't do by yourself, unless you're Sean James, and then you could pretty much, it seems like, do anything by yourself. I was watching his video this week where timber framing fascinates me. So if you're into building and you're into that timber frame construction, I was watching Sean James make all these marks and cuts on all these big timbers and locking them all together. And at the very end, he started his video with starting to raise the wall, and however he had it hooked up, it collapsed and fell down, because you're not lifting that by yourself. And then you go through the whole process of how he built that wall and everything that he was doing. And then he gets back to that scene again. So it doesn't always go right the first time for anybody, I don't think. But he's just amazing to watch. And I'm off on a tangent here, but I enjoyed I love seeing people's mistakes, and that's why I try and leave them in all my videos, so that you can see that, hey, this guy is maybe building a cabin up here, but he's also stupid. He's never done this before. He's doing it wrong. And when I catch myself doing it wrong, I stop and do it right, but I show you where I did it wrong. Trudy Cron, good to see you. Awesome to have you here today. I think the chickens do kind of understand me. But they even even more they understand when Brother Will stops by, because he always gives them treats. He buys them mealworms and keeps them here. So whenever he comes in and they hear his voice, they all run over to the fence because they know they're getting a treat no matter what. Trudy, the lives will be back September, October. We'll see how the internet signal is. As soon as the internet signal is worth coming on and scheduling one, I will do it, definitely. Yeah, I haven't watched Jay and Jen's video today. They were live yesterday, which was super awesome. They don't go live enough. I like those guys a lot. They are super super cool people. But I need to catch up on that. As far as I'm going with seeds, I haven't done any yet, and I will get them going this week because I'm starting to plan the garden. But that ground is still very very cold. Um, I'm a couple of weeks away from having to plant anything anyway. So if I get stuff started now, I'll be good. But I picked up, like I said, 3 varieties of potatoes. I picked up Chieftain, which are a red. All my seed was Alaska potato seed. So I picked up Chieftain. I forget what the other 2 were. They're in the back of the truck right now. I never took them out, but I got them at Kenai Feed. And so potatoes I'm ready to go. But all the other stuff I want to plant this year, I haven't started yet. Cecilia, good to see you. Awesome you can make it today. Curmudge, get busy, man. We all got a million things to do, right? Have a great day. Looking forward to catching up with you, too. I'm amazed that the snow stays so long but leaves so quickly. So that's something that is pretty easy to explain. So the last couple of winters, we've had an awful lot of snow. And normally we haven't had this much since I've been up here. It's not normal for us to get the huge amount of snowfall that we've had over the last couple of years. But the reason why it goes so quickly is because, like I alluded to earlier, our days are super, super long right now. So, once that sun gets up in the sky, it's up there for, 20 hours a day, 18 plus hours a day. And that it just melts all day and all night. And as long as we get the good sun in the daytime, let me slide this over a little bit so I quit hitting it. As long as we get the good sun in the daytime and we get the cooler but not freezing temperatures at night, it'll evaporate overnight. It's crazy. Chocolate covered mosquitoes. Sunshine, welcome. Glad you can make it today. You're at the orange store. Very cool. John, welcome. Glad you cut your live until later in the year. Your last live until later in the year. Can't catch them all due to the yeah. It's tough. And I tried to. So I'll make you guys a promise. If you're watching right now and you're from overseas, or you're in a time zone that it just doesn't seem to work for you, next year I'm going to plan on at least every other week adding a second live that'll be for a different time zone for folks that are not in this general area. This works for the United States and North America, generally speaking. But for folks in the UK, I mean, there's a 9-hour time difference. So right now it's 1:30 over there. It's 10:30 at night, and it's tough. The further east you go that way, it's tough for anybody to catch the lives. I tried doing one earlier this year, and it was fun. It worked out well. But I'm going to make a concerted effort to do a live at least every other week in a time slot that works better for my viewers that are outside of the States. Genova, welcome. Good to see you today. Awesome to have you here. Angie, Beamer and you checking in. Awesome. Awesome. Don't forget, quality Beamer time. Quality ball time with Beamer. Nina, hello and welcome. Good to see you today. Brother Will, McNuggets master. He is the chicken whisperer. Brother Will is. Henry Leslie, Vermont, glad to see you. Awesome you could be here today. Curie says, I planted and replaced and replanted a bunch of seeds earlier this week in anticipation of a week of rain. Last couple of days got almost 2 inches. Wow, that's crazy. That's the other thing is I'm looking at, how am I going to keep this garden watered? And I had to water a bit a couple of years ago when I did the one raised bed of potatoes. But eventually it got to the point where with the occasional rain that we got here, I didn't have to worry about it. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, especially with a larger garden, because I don't really have the roof on yet. But my goal is to use barrels to catch rainwater so that I can use that to water the garden with. But we'll see. Kyle, yes, the bears are out. I don't really see any around my property, but we get reports of them in the area from our local community page on Facebook. So they are out and about, just not really doing much at this moment. Okay, just over 17 hours of daylight right now. But when you think about it, Angie, at 4 o'clock in the morning, that sun's coming up. And at 11:30 at night, that sun's going down. It's still light. It may not be in the sky, but it's on the horizon at that point still. So the days are actually a little bit longer than that. But for those that don't know, we actually do not achieve, I think, what they call nautical twilight here. We don't get low. The sun doesn't get low enough on the horizon right now to be considered true night anymore. Anyway, until that starts in March and that runs until August or September. Am I going to do an outdoor chicken or an outdoor kitchen? I think is what you meant to say there. Which chicken will be prepared in? Yes, not this year, but yes, I do plan on doing an outdoor kitchen. I love the idea of an outdoor kitchen. Bobby Brown, welcome. Glad you could make it today. Awesome to have you here. Sunshine says she's starting off the first half of her plants off. Just planted your onions and another batch of bare root strawberries yesterday. Nice. I thought of doing strawberries this year. Jackson Farms Nursery always sells, I think they're Seascape strawberries, and they're gorgeous. And I thought about doing some this year, but I'm not set up to preserve them the way that I want to, so I didn't even bother doing it this year. Mike, I agree completely. There is nothing better than fresh from the garden produce. There is nothing better. Um, there's a running gags and memes that I see all the time about, look at I grew this I grew this corn myself, which I can't really grow here. It only cost me $1 an ear when it was done, and I could have bought it for 25 cents at the grocery store. It's worth the 75 cents more. The flavor's incredible. The flavor is just absolutely incredible. Junior Gridley, good to see you, my friend. Awesome that you could be here today. I am fantastic. Thank you. I hope you're doing well as well. And thanks for the pictures, the update pictures from your growing. Junior's got a heck of a green thumb. And he sent me a message on Instagram with all the pictures. It was super cool. Wow. We need rain here, having to water the garden every other day in the Philippines? What's up with that? That is crazy. David Evans, how you doing, my friend? Awesome to see you today. I see you today, Sean. Be safe out there. Have a great week. Hey, Mike, thank you very much. Have yourself a fantastic week as well. Football One, you got to run as well. That's awesome. Thanks for popping in. Greatly appreciate seeing you. You're making beef roast supper in the pressure cooker for your mom. Oh, that is awesome, man. That is fantastic. Love it. Hey, Sean, mark your calendar for August 12th. Alaskan YouTube meetup in Wasilla. I don't know. So August for me has got a bunch of stuff going on. So I don't. If I can pull something off, I will. But I've got my daughter and granddaughter coming up. I've got my brother coming up. I've got a ton of people are visiting in August. So if there's a window in there or a way that I can, I definitely will get in touch with you and let you know. But August is when I kind of plan everything up here for free time, because I'm done with, the crush is over in the store down here on the Kenai Peninsula. The salmon run is done, or the big red run is done, and we can all take time off at the store. So we'll have to play it by ear and see what happens. Tina Murphy, awesome to see you today from Orlando, Florida. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. Enjoy watching it. Bush Radical, Girl in the Woods, and others building cat. Right? Yeah. Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods are awesome. I have learned a lot watching his videos, Bush Radicals alone. Just the stuff that like the outhouse that I built is. Oh, I'm hearing noise from the generator. Hang on one second. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. Generator just blew. Darn it. Son of a gun. All right. Am I still live? I'm still live. Well, that's going to change some things. I might have to go buy a generator tomorrow. Nah, I'm good, Will. We're good right now. Just hang on 1 second here. I just want to make sure everything's secure out there. I just went out and turned it off, but I just want to check one thing and make sure we're all dry and secure and I don't have any issues. Ah, well, that was crazy. Ah. So the crankcase blew up, um, from what I can tell. So I just went out and took a look, and I have a hole in the bottom of the crankcase, probably maybe half the size of a golf ball, maybe a 50-cent piece worth. So that is toast. I don't know if I can have that fixed. I'll have to find out. But I've had that generator on the property for 3 years now. I just didn't expect that to be an issue. Crazy. Crazy. Yeah, right? Let me, well, I got you on here. I'll unplug that. So we'll go live for as long as the battery lasts now. How's that sound? Because I don't really have this plugged into anything else. I guess I could plug it into my inverter on the batteries, but I'm not going to do that right now. You know, it does suck that the generator went kaplooey, but it's been a loud generator and it's a bigger generator than I really need. So I might just spend the money and buy a decent one at this point. Uh, because if I need to replace it, I'm going to replace it with something a little nicer. This is actually a pretty good time of year to buy a generator because it's kind of summer, so you know people aren't worried about power outages, so the price kind of goes down on them this time of year, right, Matt? It's not one thing, it's another. That's crazy though. I could hear it. All of a sudden, the sound got wrong, and then when I opened the door, when I ran out there to open the door, and I would have recorded it, but we're live right now, so I couldn't really do it. But when I opened the door to go out there, man, it was just spewing right out the front. So I stopped it before it seized up, but I have no idea why it did that. That's crazy. Now, mind you, I've been on this property now. Let me see. Was it October of 2019? Is I think when I moved onto the property. Maybe it was October of 2020. Okay, so it was October of 2020. So that generator has seen some serious use and, you know, misuse because I've been running it at 25 below zero in an unprotected environment since then. So it's definitely paid for itself. I only paid $800 for it. I think it was $850. So it's not the end of the world. I had electricity for the cost of gasoline and $850 for the last 3 years. So not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. Junior, drive safe, man. Awesome you could be here today. You know what? I didn't even think about that, Will. That's right. Todd can rebuild it because that's what Todd does. Todd! Yeah, I don't know, David. Well, I'll find out when I find out more. I definitely will let you guys all know because you were here when I live when it went. Crazy things happen in this cabin when I'm live. Right? That time for a new one, and I'm probably going to get a Honda. We'll look and see. But I would like to get an inverter generator that's a whole lot quieter than the Westinghouse. Don't get me wrong. I love the Westinghouse. It was a great generator. I like the remote start feature and everything else, but it's time to change it up, I think. I'm glad you were home, so no other damage was done. So I don't. I will never leave the generator running if I'm not home. It's only running when I'm home. That's the only time that it will be started. Take my phone to the truck. That wouldn't make any difference because I'm not on the phone right now. Um, and I could take this out, but my deck's not built right now. I could set this up on the deck, but that wouldn't work either. Yvonne, welcome. Awesome to see you here today. Watching the big TV doesn't let you comment. I think the generator's broke. I think we've established the fact that the generator is toast right now. I'll check AIH, but man, their prices are ridiculous. That is the most expensive store that we have down here. It's crazy. I bought the um, and AIH is Alaska Industrial Hardware. I bought the safety harness in a bucket, right? This, my dinner table bucket of safety. I bought that at SBS. The same thing, and I paid like $100 for it, somewhere in there. The same thing at AIH was like $300. They're crazy. I'm gonna look, David, but I want something quieter anyway. So we'll look and see. I'm gonna go on and get watch. I'll watch a million reviews on YouTube, and I might pick one up tomorrow. But uh, I'd like an inverter generator. I want one that's cleaner anyway, because I think that'll alleviate some of the issues I was having in here with electronics when I was running them. Right? That's yeah. Honda has some quiet generators. That's kind of what I was looking for. Something a lot quieter. Too bad about the generator. If it's mechanical, it'll fail. It's right. Exactly. There's a saying about that that I won't say right now, but yeah. I don't have to have electricity. I have solar panels that I need to hook up anyway. But it's nice to have the generator because then when I'm editing video, everything works right. You know what I mean? I can run all my hard drives and everything when I'm editing, and I can run the TV and see what it looks like on there. But I'll probably replace it tomorrow. Should be a good time to purchase a stove too. I'm getting close. I'm getting close for the kitchen stove. The wood stove. If you guys were here last week, I had a very generous donation that, for whatever reason, PayPal put a hold on it for 21 days. So still waiting on that. And as soon as that frees up, I'm buying the wood stove. But kitchen stove, not quite yet. Not quite yet. Oh, Scotty, I check the oil in that thing like a mad dog. So with a generator, you have to be on top of that. You have to I change the oil every 50 hours on that generator and top it off constantly. But to be honest with you, this year I've noticed a couple of things while it was running that I had some issues with that I went, that doesn't seem right. And so I don't think this is a right now problem. I think this was something that was building. Matt says, I've been eyeing getting a generator from Harbor Freight to bring up. Here they're good. My biggest problem with the generator from Harbor Freight would be, especially in Alaska, would be service, right? Because there are no Harbor Freights in the entire state. So that would be my biggest issue with getting a generator from Harbor Freight. You'll need to take this portion of your life and put it in the next video. I will. I will. I definitely will. Because yeah, that was crazy. Cat back, welcome. Good to see you today. Glad you can make it. It's actually doing pretty good, right? Because I had my laptop completely charged. I'm still at 5 hours and 18 minutes left of time on here for now. We'll see how fast it goes down. Generators are so expensive, dang. They are, but so let's do the math on it. If I buy a generator for $1,200, okay, and that's an upper end generator. That's a higher end generator than what I have. If I spend $1,200 on that over a year, that's $100 a month. Okay, over 2 years, that's $50 a month that it cost me to have that. Over 3 years, that's $33 a month. Over 4 years, that's $25 a month. So when you look at it that way, it's not really that expensive, right? When you amortize it out over a few years. And that's kind of what I do with everything that I want to buy is not what does it cost me now, but what will this cost me in the long run? How long until this thing pays for itself? I do a lot of that when I'm buying anything here. Uh, with that said, I got to tell you, it's pretty peaceful doing this live right now, not having that generator running in the background. I like it. Right, Ward? Get a Honda. Yeah, I'll probably be looking. I'll be looking tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow, so I'll be looking tomorrow. Yeah. Go to Todd's. I'm sure he has three or four of them. When he sees this, he's going to send me a text and say, "Yeah, go over to my house and pick one up." If he's got three or four, he's got 10. Todd's got a ton of generators over there, right? AI ouch. That's what we call AIH. AI ouch. And Will's going to drop in the military uh, jargon here right now. Situation normal, all yepped up. The 3000 is an inverter generator, plus it has the power to run everything and very efficient on gas. And that's the other thing. So this was a 7500, 9500 watt generator. So it had a lot of power. I never needed the power that it had. I never needed that much power. So I don't need to get something that big. Firefly Farm, good to see you. Awesome you could be here today. Doug Adams, welcome, my friend. Good to see you today from Beaverton, Ontario. Fantastic. I hope you were here when everything just happened. Oh, that is cool. That is cool. Boat trip to the lighthouse with your boy. That is awesome right there. No, we're not doing a 5 hour live today. Right now we're at 50 minutes. We're almost an hour. But like I said, I'm going to hang out for as long as you guys want to chat for a bit today. We're probably not going to take it over. I won't go over 2 hours, but we'll be on for a while more still. My mom has a Generac home generator that works on propane. Vermont has 25 to 40. Yeah, Generacs are the house model Generacs are awesome generators. The smaller Generacs, I haven't read a lot of good stuff about them, but the ones you install as backups for your house, those are built to a different standard. Those I understand are incredible generators. Generators there are about 1,500. I don't think they make them, so you probably have to ship them all in. But same thing here in Alaska, right? Everything in Alaska that you want to get has to be shipped because we don't make anything up here. It's crazy. Scotty says, buy the biggest you can get and get a warranty. Well, here would be the problem with that, Scotty, is I actually bought that generator, and we'll chime in here because you remember when I bought it. I bet you I bought that generator in 2018, so 5 years ago. So even if I had a warranty, there's not a warranty around that would have lasted that long. Not for a generator like that. You're going to get a 2 year, 1 year, 2 year, maybe a 3 year plan. But even a 3 year plan from the time I started using it would have never uh, made it here as well. Yeah, most Charles is saying most generators there come from China. Most generators in the United States come from China too. I don't think you could buy 100% American anything anymore when it comes to engines of any kind. And then you throw electronics in there, and none of the electronics, most of the electronics are not made in the States either. Right? Yeah, sounds about right. It was in the box for 1 year or maybe 2 years before I brought it over here. I'll have to go back and look because I actually have a video. One of my earliest videos on the channel was the unboxing of that generator, and I loved it. That was a nice generator. I I I lost the ability to use the remote start on it for whatever reason. The remote start kind of quit working, which bothered me a lot, but not enough to say that I wasn't going to use it anymore. So I don't know. It'll give me having used the generator now for on the property now 2.5 years, almost 3 years. Um, I have a better idea of what I actually need and what I actually want. So it'll be a little easier. It'll be a more informed decision now than it would have been, you know, or than it was when I made the first pick. But I love that generator. That was a nice generator. I did, right? Thomas Fry is commenting here. I got my money back, just never breaks at a good time. And right, if anything would break at a good time, here's my luck, and I'm going to tell you why it broke right now. Anytime a vehicle of mine has ever broken down, it was right after I filled the gas tank. So then it broke down and I couldn't even use the gas tank. I couldn't drive it and it had a full tank of gas. Every time in my life that a vehicle has gone kaput on me has been right after I filled it up. Just before we went live today, I topped that generator all the way up to the top. Big man, clever man, good to see you, my friend. Thank you very much. Yeah, the exterior. I don't know how far I'll actually get on exterior this summer, but the roof will be done for sure. I've got some other projects that I kind of want to get done that have kind of moved up the ladder of what gets done first. I got to get a wood stove in here. I got to get that. I got to get the roof put on. You know, the metal roof put on. I want to. I've got the garden going this year. I want to definitely build a new chicken coop this year, something big enough to walk into. And I got to build a new house for the generator, for the new generator. um, and I will get everything else wrapped and sealed up on the outside. So that'll all be done. I just might not have the wood finish on the outside that I want yet. Henry Leslie Vermont says, whole home generator you have Honda works well too. Yeah, Hondas are nice. Honda makes great stuff. Honda makes great stuff. Whatever you buy, don't buy a Furman. Too much maintenance and issues. You actually took yours back to Costco. I wouldn't buy an off-brand, and I consider Furman to be an off-brand when it comes to generation. Westinghouse, I felt really comfortable with because most of the hydroelectric plants, all of their power generating stuff comes from um, Westinghouse. So I felt really good about that. And then the motor on that generator, I believe, is a Briggs and Stratton, which is a great engine too. But it'd be interesting to find out what happened more than anything else because it got loud, and then when I went out there, it was still running, but it was spewing oil out the front. So I shut it off. And when I went back out there to double check and make sure it wasn't, I didn't have any hot spots. I didn't want it catching on fire. Which reminds me, I'll probably take a peek here again in a second, even though I don't see any smoke or anything out there. That's when I saw the hole in it. So yeah, what are you going to do, right? Lone Wolf. So when you restart the lives in the fall, the walls will be finished and the floor will be insulated, right? The floor will be insulated. 100% the floor will be insulated. That's another thing I have to get done before winter comes again. And I'm not doing that until it's dry completely so that when I'm climbing around underneath, I'm not in wet and mud and everything else. Because I do have, a layer of moisture down under the cabin. Not much. It's actually pretty dry compared to the rest of the stuff. But I want it to be bone dry when I get underneath there. But I'm saving the interior work inside the cabin, like covering the walls and covering the ceiling. I'm saving that for winter because I can't get out and do a lot in winter. So I might as well save some of that stuff to do inside during the winter. How to garden? Welcome. Good to see you. Glad you can make it today. Alaska's Last Frontier Homestead. Bill wants to know, do I have any plans for other animals in the next year or two? I would like to maybe explore some other animals in another couple of years, but nothing firm yet. I don't know which direction I want to go. I would like to get a couple of pigs and be able to, to raise them, to butcher them, to get my own pork chops, ham, sausage, that kind of stuff out of them. But I don't know that I'm going to go that route right away. I don't know when that's going to happen, but eventually something like that will happen. Have I fed whole fish to your chickens? Yes, the Reds, the Rhode Island Reds. Gotcha. The Rhode Island Reds got salmon the first year that they basically got the heads of the salmon the first year that I had them because I was fishing that year. Oh, that is nice. We can order direct from China here and receive products in a little over a week. Very cool. So while I got a break here for a second because I'm kind of caught up, I'm going to just take a peek again and make sure everything's okay out there. Oh, oh. All right. Cool. Oh, so other than the fact that it's got a hole in it, it's perfectly fine right now. Yeah. Cypress Blue, good to see you. Awesome to have you here today. Awesome. Doing laundry on Mother's Day? Wait a minute. There's something wrong there. Susan, hi from sunny Palmer, 57 degrees today. We've got clouds down here, Susan. I don't know what's going on. It just drives me insane. Hopefully it'll clear out later because I do have tomorrow off and I'd like to sit by the campfire a little later on this evening. Oh, I did. When I walked out there and turned it off, I yanked the cord right out of it. I wasn't going to play any games as far as that goes. Although there's no electricity, so there's nothing that can backfeed anyway. Yvonne, thank you. Have a great day as well. Awesome that you could hang out with me today. I do. And Cecilia, that is a great point. So probably the first livestock that I get here that I'm going to use, that I'm going to plan on harvesting from will be meat birds, because uh, I love chicken and they're super easy to raise, and I'll have experience with chickens at that point to where I think it'll be worthwhile to do something like that. Henry Leslie, Vermont, Sean, Alaska. Got to run. We'll miss your lives. Have a great night and happy Mother's Day to all. Awesome, man. Thanks you. Awesome, awesome to have you join me today. I greatly appreciate everybody that shows up and hangs out for these lives. They're a ton of fun for me. And I get a lot of comments back that people enjoy the heck out of them too. So have yourself a fantastic week. Ouch. 97 degrees in Phoenix. I don't know if I could handle uh, 90 degrees again. I know that when I was down at my brother's last year, I think it was, we had the last day that I was there, it was almost 90 degrees and it just about wiped me out, just about killed me. It was crazy. Thomas, I'll look at fixing it. I mean, if it's just an engine issue, that's not a big deal. Fixing a motor, just finding a new casing for the motor is not a big deal. So, I'm not going to get rid of it by any stretch of the imagination. Everything on it works. It's just the motor that went kapooey. And it wasn't really the motor; it was the casing, the housing. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm not going to throw it away for sure. I'll definitely see it. How much, if it's worth, financially, if it's worth fixing, I'll fix it. It's hot here in the Southwest U.S. 100 F. Oh man. Oh yeah, that's brutal. That's crazy. Oh yeah, yes, Cecilia. I'll definitely be doing videos still. Videos release every Friday for me. Those won't change at all. It's just the lives, because it's really tough to schedule one and then I schedule it and I tell everybody that I'm going to be live that Sunday and then my internet signal is just terrible, because I do everything off a hotspot on my phone. So it doesn't, it just doesn't work, right? We just can't, um, I can't count on the internet being there to do the lives. As far as uploads go now, I take the laptop into town with me and I upload from town where I always have a good enough signal to be able to do it. Turkeys are easy to raise up here. Charles and Annalyn are asking. But from what I've heard about turkeys is they're nasty, dirty birds. And I don't know, I mean, chickens do nothing but eat and poop. And I don't know that I would want something 4 times the size of a chicken eating and pooping. It would just be a nasty mess. Liz is saying, consider getting a few meat birds for yourself that make good companions for the others too in the winter. Well, yeah, but they won't last in the winter, right? Because if I raise them, it's like 8 to 12 weeks from chick to processing. So they won't be around in the winter. That's what I'm going to do. I'll definitely talk to Todd and see what he thinks when he gets back. He'll be back here. Be back up in another week and a half. Ray, thanks, man. Awesome to see you. Awesome to have you here today. And thank you for that. Well, we'll see what happens, right? Sean 10 years ago would have been flipping out right now. Sean right now is like, oh wow, there's another interesting dilemma that I've gotten myself into. Pretty sure that's not going to happen. Can you imagine a loose ostrich? The ostrich gets out of its enclosure here and shows up on national news. Ostriches attacking people in Alaska. David Briggs, welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Hotspot equals bad. Starlink equals good. I know, but Starlink requires power. which I don't have a lot of right now, and a monthly bill that I'm really not willing to pay right now. I'm cheap. If you haven't figured it out, through the entire build of this cabin, I did not buy a piece of lumber until I needed the lumber. I'm cheap, man. David, thank you, my friend. Good to see you as always. Have yourself a wonderful day. Ashley Anderson, welcome. Glad you could make it today. Figs and quail, welcome. Look at raising quail. I've eaten quail because when I was younger in Northern California, I would hunt quail all the time. Uh, it's too small for me, and I know that economically, feed per pound of food when they're done and how long they take to grow out, they're actually more viable than chicken. But I'm just not a fan, and I don't want to. I don't want to raise anything or grow anything that I'm not going to use myself on a regular basis. Do a battery check here. 4 hours and 30 minutes left. Nice. Thomas, I lived in Houston, Texas, and the worst rain that I ever experienced in my life was Tropical Storm Allison when I was living down there. I've never seen it rain like that in my life. It was crazy. That was crazy. Ostrich from Alaska would be great. I know, right? Yeah, that sea thing destroyed a lot of people's plans, let's just say. For us in Alaska, it was probably one of the funnest fishing seasons I've ever had because while we did have people here still fishing, man, the crowds were so much less that year. It was ridiculous how nice it was to go on the river because it can get brutal on the river up here. In July, it's ridiculous on the river up here. An exotic ranch a few miles down the highway from me used to have two ostriches. Enjoyed seeing them, but those things can be dangerous. One good kick, right? Yeah. And I'd be the guy they kicked. Yeah, they're quail and it remind me a lot of dove. So I've quail hunted and dove hunted in the past, and you know, delicious meat. But the breasts are, man, they're only like that big when you're done. And with a chicken, you've got the breast, you've got the thighs, you've got the legs, you've got the wings. There's just so much more meat on that bird when it's done. Right? Exactly. Exactly. They're just a leaner. I mean, so my eventual goal here is to do as much as I possibly can do for myself while not incurring an exorbitant cost to do it. So it's got to be cost effective for me, but it's also got to be something that I will use and do. So I would love to have a garden where I'm growing 80 different varieties of stuff in my garden. I don't eat 80 varieties of stuff right now. I never have eaten 80 varieties of produce. What I'm worried about now is, potatoes for short-term consumption, potatoes for long-term storage, onions for short-term consumption, onions for long-term storage. Um, Foods that I know I'm going to eat on a regular basis that growing them will supplement what it would cost me to buy them in the store for one, and quality. My quality will be much better than what I can get in the grocery store, especially here in Alaska when it comes to produce. So it'll be the same thing like the chickens are a great example. I got chickens because I thought it would be fun to have chickens, but they're not very much fun and they're not um, feasible if all you're doing is having like I have 15 laying hens now. If all I was doing was giving them feed and trying to eat the eggs that those chickens produce, because they produce a lot of eggs, that's the number one and the number two breed for dual purpose chickens. And I went with a dual purpose chicken because when they get past their prime of laying eggs and they really drop off, more than likely I'll eat them. I'll can them up and I'll use them for food. And then I'll bring the next group in and the next group in, and I'll try and alternate it every couple of years. But if I didn't if sell the eggs, the cost of feed would be ridiculous. Right now, we're back at the point with the chickens laying eggs that um, the sale of their eggs pays for the chicken feed and then gives me all the eggs I want for free at that point. And it's not really free because I had to build a coop and I'm going to build a bigger coop. But that's the kind of stuff I'm looking at is, what are my costs going to be down the road if I start doing something, because I want everything to be as cheap as it possibly can be. I want to see how inexpensive I can live, if that makes sense. They do, Bill. Quail have legs, thighs, and wings, but there's like not much meat on them. Not much meat on them at all. We need to plant potatoes. We're already picking tomatoes. Ah, see, yeah, tomatoes I miss, man. Tomatoes I miss. Bobby Brown. How far do I live from a lake or stream to fish from my place? I could be at the river, uh, where all the salmon are running. In if I walked in 10 minutes, if I drive in three. Usually I drive because that way I take the ice chest and whatever I catch, I throw it right in the ice chest. Um, but yeah, I'm not far from the river at all. I'm very close to the river. Over Jackson would have to have at least 3 to 4 doves for a good meal. Yeah, you got to shoot a lot of doves to make them worthwhile. You definitely do. I do too. Frugal is the term I'm looking for. So um, when I bought the land from Brother Will, paid it off. Um, when I bought the lumber for the cabin, I paid cash for it because I'd put some money away just for that. I'd put it in some Roth IRAs and some 401ks. Cashed them out because I knew they were never going to be enough money to retire on anyway. But the plan was I'll put them in there and let them raise as much as I can before I need the cash. So all the lumber, everything in here has been paid for. So everything I have some credit card debt that I ran up, which is not a big deal. I'll be paying that off. My truck, I bought my pickup truck on time, but that actually gets paid off in the next 6 or 7 months, and I won't have a payment on my truck, which is almost 500 a month. But everything that I have is pretty much paid for. So I, I'm 60. I'll be 61 years old next week. Getting to the point where retirement is going to happen, and I want to make sure I have everything taken care of and paid off so that I can enjoy it. My goal is not to travel. I'm not interested in traveling the world. I've seen what I want to see. I wouldn't mind going back to Ireland again, or maybe going to Scotland, but my goal is to enjoy Alaska because this is where I live and this is where I want to be. I want to be able to financially do those things, and in order to do that, I have to make sure that if I make an investment on something, that it's going to either a pay for itself or b replace something that I'm already paying for. And it's just to me, it's just a smart way of living. I've done the other way, and I'm not interested in doing that again. Well, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Bacon wrapped quail is yummy. But it's a quantity thing, or yeah, quantity thing over a quality thing for me. And while I cook and I love to cook fancy stuff, that's something I would occasionally do. But I'll eat fried chicken 4 days a week. And yeah, let's be fair. David has a comment here. Bacon wrapped anything is good. I like bacon wrapped bacon personally. Yeah, right, Cat Mac. That's why you have it, though, right? The reason to have those kind of accounts, and they're good to have, and I'm not a financial advisor, so this is just from my own point of view, is either A, because you're planning on it long term to retire with, or B, because you're planning on it short term because you have a tendency to spend what's in your normal bank account all the time. That's me. So I used it for plan B because I knew that I couldn't get to it really easy. It took a couple of weeks to get any money out. So then when it came time to build, it was there. So that was a great thing. But I also knew because I'd started it so late in life that there was no way that I was going to have enough in there to have any kind of real income when I retired. So I wasn't worried about that. Thank you for that very much, Cecilia. I greatly appreciate it. Bill says that's the reason why I moved to Willow. The only payment you have now is the excavator, right? Yeah. And when you're young, you don't fear any of that. When I was young, I didn't care about any of that stuff. None of that stuff made any difference, and that was a mistake because if I would have thought that way when I was younger, I would have had a whole lot more right now. But when you get older, you gotta start thinking that way, right? You're like, okay, how am I going to pay for this? How am I going to pay for that? What about this? What about that? And that's part of the reason why this place is so basic compared to, I get a lot of people that say, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Are you going to build this? Are you going to have, no, I'm not going to have 90% of that stuff because I don't need it. It's not required or necessary for my lifestyle. So I will keep this as simple as I possibly can. The reason I don't have a well right now is because I want to pay cash for that. I don't want to finance anything on that. And so I'll save up my money. When I get to that point, I'll have somebody come out and I'll drill a well. Uh, and I'll plumb the place when I have the cash to plumb the place. And that to me is just an easier way to live. Thank you very much, Thomas. Greatly appreciate that. Marunanda, greetings from Funny River, Alaska. Awesome to have you here today. No, my birthday is actually the 17th. So what day is that? Wednesday? Yeah, my birthday is next Wednesday. Right, Matt? That to me is amazing. You see these. I know these people. I know a ton of people that they get to the retirement age, they sell their home, they made money on their sale, obviously, because they'd been there for many many years, and the price of a house, the value of a house goes up the longer you own it, generally speaking, unless we have like we had before in the 90s. But that's a glitch more than anything else. And then they move and they buy another house and they have to make the payments on that other house for all those years. And I'm thinking, I want to own it. I want it to be free and clear of debt so that I never have to worry about not having a place to live. It's always covered. So I'm with you. I don't want to do that either. I definitely don't want to do that either. Suzanne, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I always have great birthdays. I mean, I always have great days. I'm pretty darn positive about everything in life. Kathy, bacon wrapped asparagus, yum. David, asparagus. I would like to grow asparagus. I really would. I love asparagus. I had that on the grill last night. It is just that's one of my favorite. Asparagus and artichokes are my two favorite things of the green vegetables. Welcome back, Curmudge. Thank you very much, Bill. Greatly appreciate it. Ward, take care, brother. Good to see you. If you're going to swing by for eggs, come by later on this afternoon. I'll be home. Great Lakes Reliance, welcome. Awesome to have you here today from Michigan. Very cool. Sean turns the same age and the same month and year as your husband. Awesome. Very cool. He's a good man, right? Guy's born in May. My dad, me, and two of my brothers born in May. The other one we let him slide because he was born the day before St. Patrick's Day. So the youngest one. Cecilia wants to know, Sean, why not apply to Homestead Rescue to help you out? The Marty Rainey that lives in Alaska and helps people out. Because when it comes to stuff like that, I think that there are many more people that need more help than I do. I am not afraid of asking help. I am not afraid to ask for help when I need it. But if I don't need it, I will never ask because there are people who do need that kind of help. And for me, I'm not in a hurry. I have nothing else to do. I mean, I fish, I hike, I enjoy Alaska. When I'm not at work, I'm doing stuff here and it makes me happy. So that's why my focus is not on how fast can I get this done, other than trying to get the roof on this winter. That was a focus. But it's on, what am I going to do to fill my days? And this is something that I do to fill my days. And by all means, I have no problem accepting help when I need it, but I don't need any help right now. Well, thank you, CK. Greatly appreciate it. Scotty, thanks, man. I'm gonna go watch your video on your meatloaf for sure. Get that thing uploaded if you haven't already, because that'd be something for you to watch with dinner tonight. Is it expensive drilling wells here? It depends on how far they have to go for water. And most of the wells in this area are not. I don't think they have to go that deep for good water. You could go probably 20 feet and hit water, but you want to get the good water, and that could be 100 plus feet depending on where you're at. Luckily, though, Todd's property, he's just down the road and across the street from me, so he's not far at all. He's like a 3-minute walk. He's got an artesian well, so I'm hoping that maybe I've got some water like that under my place. That would be kind of nice. I'm jealous. Just harvested some more asparagus today from a patch that's been established for 50 plus years. That is awesome. Howie, good to see you, my friend from Food Forest Permaculture. And thank you very much for that. I greatly appreciate it. We're probably going to call this thing at an hour and a half. So let's say we got about 12 more minutes left um, of the live chat, and then that'll probably do it until September or October. Good man. He, his dad, and brothers all have May 30th birthday, and one of his three sisters. Nice, right? That's crazy. That's fun. Thomas, I don't know. I've never set anything like that up. I just set up PayPal because it was so simple to use, and it was a big enough um, company that I felt comfortable, even though they take a pretty good cut. I felt pretty comfortable with it. But feel free to send me a message, and maybe we can work something out. I get folks that mail me stuff all the time, in the regular mail, and it's super super awesome because my mail's not on my property. My mail's actually, a couple of miles away from me where I pick it up. So I feel pretty comfortable giving that address out. Suzanne says place looks good the way it is. Keep you dry and warm, and that's the main two considerations, right? To keep yourself dry and warm and secure. So when I have the wood stove installed this year, when I put the deck on the front this year, um, I'm going to be pretty, and I get the metal roof on, I'm going to be pretty set. So I don't have, at that point, any pressure getting, going into next winter is pretty much done. I want to install a kitchen, but I'm going to take my time because I want a certain type of kitchen. You guys have watched me for any amount of time. I like to cook. Um, and I have not been able to cook the way I want to cook, being in a trailer in a motorhome for the last few years, last 10 years. So I want a kitchen that I can go crazy in, that I can bake bread in all winter, that I can do, any kind of stuff in. So it's a pretty particular layout that I want, so I can take my time until I get there. Uh, as far as your basic necessities in the house, I'll do an outhouse for as long as I need to. I'm not worried about that. I don't have a problem with an outhouse, but I would like to have a shower inside. So I brought in one of the 55-gallon drums. I want to get an on-demand propane water heater and an RV, a small 12-volt pump, so that I can, and then install a bathtub slash shower in the bathroom, so that I can in fact take showers here and not have to go over and mooch off a brother Will at his place. Man, I wish. Wolf stove. I actually saw one that was like 800 bucks on Facebook Marketplace, and then it was gone. It was on there for a couple of weeks, and then it disappeared. Um, I would love a commercial wolf range, but I don't need one because it's just me. Sure, I mean I have company and stuff that'll come up, but um, man, it'd be nice just to be able to flip on a flat griddle and throw some hash browns right on top. Not have to. That'd be a ton of fun. I've cooked on many a wolf range. I've cooked on many a wolf range. Have I decided on my countertops yet? Yes, I'm going to go with butcher block countertops all the way around because longevity of life, and they're durable. I can beat them up and it won't really matter, right? You get some cuts in the top of it, you just go ahead and sand it out, every year, every couple of years. Cure the top off with a nice food grade oil. They get nasty and dirty. You pour some boiling water over the top of them, draw all that stuff out and clean. I've worked with butcher block tables for years, and I think they're probably the greatest kitchen for somebody who actually uses their kitchen. I think they're the most awesome thing to be able to have in a kitchen. So yeah, that's the direction I'm going to go. Madhu, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate that. What else? Any other questions or comments or concerns? Don't think I can tell you anything else other than that I was working out in the garden yesterday. I'm going to head out there today and finish leveling out the last of that stuff, and then I'll look at picking up straw, getting some cured manure, and some topsoil. So I'll look at that this week. I measured out the deck yesterday and got my materials list for everything I need to build the porch slash deck in the front of the cabin. So that'll be coming up real quick. I'm going fishing on Sunday, so that'll be coming up real quick. I'm excited about that. Kyle said, "Happy birthday Wednesday. Did I buy the F-150 in Kenai?" Yes, I did. Bought it in Kenai. at I almost called them Hammond Ford, the Kenai Ford dealership over there. I'm gonna buy the butcher block. I'll buy the counter. I'll buy the countertops already because I'm not set up to do that kind of woodworking. I could, but I'm not set up to do that kind of woodworking here. Suzanne, thank you. Yep, we'll see you. Well, we'll see you every Friday, but we'll see you in the fall live again for sure. Hang on a second. I got chickens going crazy. What? Oh, how'd you get out? Hang on, chicken rescue. Come here, you. Okay. So, folks, I'm going to have to call this live now because I thought I had one chicken out, but it looks like I got about 8 chickens out, which means something swooped the nest and they or the run and they went absolutely crazy. But I want to thank you guys for constantly watching and putting up with me, watching the videos, hanging out with me on Sundays. Greatly appreciated. I will be live again probably September, October, but I'll let you know if I have a window where I can go live sometime in between there. That's going to do it for me, man. CK wants to know what's for dinner tonight. I'm going to grill a cheeseburger up because I actually thawed one out and I had steak last night, so I'm not doing steak 2 nights in a row. John Freeney, awesome that you could be here today. I'm out of here, folks. Have a great day. Again, thanks for showing up and thanks for hanging out. Greatly appreciated. I'm Sean in Alaska and I have to go chase chickens now. This is just an interesting day all the way around.